Welcome back to the Triple Single Podcast. Exciting things happening. We are a couple weeks in now, and we have more information to digest. We're kind of starting to get a feel for, how some of the teams in the league are really going to play this year, and we're just going to start breaking down everything from this week. Before we get into that, we have an opener. We're going to each have 1 minute. We're going to pick a team that we think is doing some fake stuff right now, and we think is going to kind of be on the decline after this week. Bashiri, we can start with you.
Yeah, so this was a pretty cool week for the NBA. A lot of fun games, and this whole season, I think this team has really, kind of popped out to everyone as being very exciting early on. They've got some great games under their belts, but unfortunately, the way they've been playing, I think they got to come back down to earth at some point, and that is the San Antonio Spurs. And I know everyone really loves Wemby, and he had that really sick game against the Suns last week, but still a lot of things remain problematic in San Antonio. They're still one of the worst defenses in the league, still a bottom 10 offense, and I don't really see how that's going to change. For the first 7 games of the season, they have the 29th highest net rating in the league. And them being 3-4, I think it's a little bit fake, and they'll probably settle down towards the bottom of the standings in the upcoming weeks.
That was a perfect minute. I think the whole point Sohan thing is
dude, it stinks.
Yeah, it's funny,
I like Sohan. It's a lot more cute than it is good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
they just look a lot better with Trey Jones on the floor, I think, which is weird because coming into the season, that was my main criticism of their roster. I said I wanted to see Wemby with a more dynamic point guard, someone with like a more robust, well-rounded skill set, and they actually just look like way better when he's on the floor. But
yeah, he's a lot better at directing traffic and penetrating.
For sure.
Dude, the Spurs, I don't know if you guys have looked at it, like the data, or even just watching the games. I feel like you can feel this too. The second Vic or Trey Jones leaves the floor, especially when they both leave the floor, that team looks terrible.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if the other 3 players are Sohan, they can have Sohan, Keldon, Vassell, Zach Collins, and a 5th guy out there. If Vic and Trey Jones not on the floor, the team is awful. They're terrible. They can't. I don't know. The defensive breakdowns, like you said, are just early and often. I think they just give up some of the worst shot quality in the NBA, and they can't really, outside of all right, Devin, go do it. They can't really make offense with those lineups.
The Malachi Branham mid-range masterclass.
Man, hell no.
Opponents are right now shooting 40.3% from 3 against the San Antonio Spurs, and I don't really think they're getting too unlucky by doing that. They're also giving up the second most threes in the league.
Yeah, a lot of that is noise, but a lot of that is also
that's also just kind of going to keep happening, I think.
They kind of stink, man. I don't know. They give up the most open threes in the league. It's 25 a game.
Yeah, and the same was true last year. I don't really see that changing.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go now, and this is gonna be sad because, dude, I think literally on last episode I was talking about how I like this team's 2 best players, but Pelicans are 4-3 and they don't look very 4-3 to me. And now CJ is out because for the second time in 2 years his right lung has collapsed, which is really scary. I hope he's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, it feels like I was talking last week about how I feel like Brandon Ingram is a very good passer, but kind of overrated as a scorer. And now it's really hurting because his shot quality continues to get more mid-range centric, less driving towards the rim, less using the fact that he's a 6'9" handler. It's just been ugly. And the Pelicans, oh man, you were just talking about the Spurs and their insane 3-point percentage against. Did you know the Pelicans have a bottom 10 defense, and they have been giving up the or on opponent 3-point, they have
they're the best in the league.
Yeah, best in the league.
That's fucking
best
crazy.
Opponents shoot 30% from three against the Pelicans on wide open threes, wide open, no one within 6 feet. 34%. That's not going to stay. Their defense is already bad. It's going to get worse, and it's now without their point guard, bro. It's going to be tough.
Speaking of things that are tough, not Joel Embiid.
What?
Sorry.
This is like that's like the worst day.
No,
you've
don't-
ever seen.
Hey, don't talk about my fantasy line, bro. He just dropped
Sorry.
Oh my
48 and
That
11.
was fucked up. I just this feels fake. I projected the Sixers, I think, to be a lot lower than other people did this year. Like just with all the Harden shit, and especially now that the trade has gone through. And good God, they did not get anything back that I or anyone within a 100-mile radius of Philadelphia should really give a shit about. Nick Batum might fucking retire at the end of this year. They are 5-1. They lost to us. Then they beat the Raptors, who, they beat them twice. Granted, those guys beat us. They beat the Blazers. They beat the Suns, and then they beat the Wizards. They scored 146 points against the Wizards last night. There's just some very there's things happening that feel fake to me. Like this whole situation with this Kelly Oubre fellow. 18 points per game, 51% from the field, 41.9% from three, 64 true shooting percentage, 11 points higher than he was last season. We had questions coming into the season about if they don't have Harden, how are the others going to step up? And I think the Tyrese Maxey stuff is very real. But, like, is Kelly Oubre really doing this every night for the rest of the season? No. Granted, he's a guy who scored 20 a night last year, but it was not at, like, this type of clip. And I don't foresee them dominating the conference like the way that they kind of have in the regular season the last few years. I'm kind of hating, but
You are kind of hating. You led off with so everyone said the Sixers were going to be good, and I disagreed, and now they're good, and I think it's fake. So,
Which is kind of funny. I do agree
I don't
that
know.
I don't think as a team, or well, let me not say that. I think some of the performances, I think Kelly Oubre, you're right about. He's probably not going to shoot at this clip for the rest of the year. Tobias Harris probably is not going to keep shooting 63% from the field. But
Right.
I mean, other than that, I don't know. I don't really think, at least for their top three players, the performances that they're getting currently aren't that far out of the realm, out of possibility for me. Embiid's kind of had a bit of a leap in his playmaking so far through these first 7 games. That's always kind of been a weakness of his, and he's seemingly improved a lot in the absence of Harden on that. He's finding guys more, and they're kind of utilizing him more. I feel like in the post and operating and facilitating in high posts around the nail. I don't know. I think this Sixers team is I said before that they're still going to be really good. They might not play this well all year, and their schedule's been a bit easier than most teams, but I mean, I don't know. I don't really see them falling off terribly hard.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're going to be horrific, but I don't see. I think a 5-1 start. Looking at their schedule, I probably would have expected this, or maybe 4-2. I probably would have picked them to lose to the Suns, but obviously they've had their injury problems and their Yusuf Nurkic problems. So this is probably about where I would have had them now, but they play the Celtics tomorrow. The Celtics are fucking hot right now, man.
I mean, the Celtics are different.
Yeah, they'll probably
Right.
lose to the
Sixers are
Celtics.
good.
They'll probably
the
beat
thing
the
is-
Pistons. I think Indy can really get out and run on them, though. We'll talk more about the Pacers later, though. But so they play
I
the
think
Celtics.
Indy can get out and get ran on. They might put up 140 on them.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. The thing is with Joel, I agree with you, Kiri, which is he's always been this guy. Even last year, I think he creates the most open 3-point looks in the NBA because he is
Yeah.
just literally that dude in the paint. It's just a matter of he doesn't always find them. But he's been doing a better job finding them. Tobias Harris has always been a good player who is underutilized out of just because there are other good guys on the roster, he's been able to step up. Maxey's improved. I think outside of literally Kelly Oubre, which I mean, yeah, that's some bullshit. He's not going to do that. But I don't know. I think they're good.
Yeah, no, I mean, none of my concerns have anything to do with Maxey or Embiid. It's literally everything else.
Or Tobias Harris, I agree.
I think they can get
Fucking
some
hell.
production out of these guys that they got back too. I mean, their wing depth has
Batum is
always
a good
been,
player, bro.
but their wing depth has always been pretty lacking. Nick Batum and Robert Covington, like they can play. Like I think
It's not
Nick
that, and it's
Batum-
like PJ
it's not
Tucker
that
plus.
end of
They
the
already were
world.
playing him.
Yeah.
He's
I
a
think
better
Nick-
version of a player they already had.
I think Nick Batum's quality. I don't
He
know
is.
about Rocco in the
I wouldn't
the
say
year
Rocco's quality.
big
He can play
2023.
though. He can play.
He's a rotation player. If you had PJ Tucker getting minutes already, Rocco can be there. Batum is like a good player, man. That's like I think over the last 3 seasons, he's like 39 from 3. He's a
Yeah,
defender, and it's not like a fake 39 from 3. He's like a good shooter.
I'm kind of
I'm like-
surprised by how unrespected Nick Batum is, to be honest.
Dude, I know. I don't.
He's
Yo,
really good, yeah.
someone we were talking to the other day said they'd rather have Doug McDermott than Nick Batum. I was like, what?
That's crazy.
Bro, Doug McDermott stinks. He's not
Rams.
getting real run on the Spurs. Like, Doug McDermott does like one thing, and it's shoot the 3, and he does it about as well as Nick Batum. And then Batum passes and defends, and is just a really intelligent like communicator. Like
Doug McDermott's also
I
a
like
traffic
Batum.
cone.
Nick Batum is like, you were talking, or we were talking last year about how like PJ Tucker's fit as like a 5th starter. Nick Batum is like that's a great 5th starter for a team that already has a lot of offense. Like I like him there. Yeah, man. Now we got to talk about. Do we have to talk about this team?
the Knicks.
The first team on the docket today is my team, Bashiri's team, the world's team. One could argue and be wrong about.
America's team. I seem to recall someone said on a podcast.
Who the fuck would ever say that?
I think
Julius Randle, I'll see you in
was
hell.
on who's that guy we used to have, Theo Pinson? He has a podcast and someone came on there and said that the Knicks were America's. It might have been like Miles Turner or something. Someone like kind of random.
What?
Yeah, that was before he
Okay,
signed
we're
the
not
extension.
America's team, man. That's it.
Don't
there's
put
no
that on us,
America's team.
please.
Don't put it on us.
Motherfucker, hey, you're barely New York's team right now.
Okay, that's not true.
That's not true.
just not true. That has never been true. But okay, dude. Oh my goodness. We played the Cavs twice. We beat them once really convincingly, and then we lost in a very bizarre game. And then we played the Bucks in what was one of the ugliest games of basketball I've ever seen. I'm sure Connor doesn't really want to talk about that one either because his team won, but they still looked like pretty bad. And then we looked even worse, and we lost.
It's crazy because
Some
I was
people
at-
looked a bit worse than others.
I was at work while that game was on, and so, I mean, I work in a bar, and so, there's a lot of TVs and stuff, and so I could watch it, like, fairly closely, but not, like, as close as I normally would. And
It was for the best.
even through all that, while I'm cleaning tables and taking orders and everything, it feels like I managed to catch every single Julius Randle field goal attempt, and good fucking God, none of them were good, and hardly any of them went in. And it was just... I'm sorry, I've been so hard on him these last few weeks because I have him in fantasy, and it feels like it hurts so much more. Like, normally it would just be funny, but, like, I kind of feel your pain now, and,
It ain't
This-
easy.
the energy's
Ain't
been
easy.
off on the pod the last few weeks. We've all been working really hard, and we've all been watching a lot of Julius Randle. And so, if the energy is low, I'm very sorry, but we're all just very tired.
We're matching him. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
dude, it's so because the thing is, on the one hand, you're like, okay, he can't just keep shooting 27% forever. That's so fake. LOL. And like, to be
He
fair-
can. Oh, he can.
Well, last night he had a good game. Last night he had an okay game, and then some bad possessions. But he mostly played like Julius
For
Randle
for
last
the
night.
part of the game that mattered, he played well. And
But
then
the
he
important
missed like 3
thing
shots at the end.
is
or
like
whatever.
I don't know, dude. I don't care about the numbers because, bro, we're like 6 games in. The process looks so much harder for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just like not getting open looks with like Brunson in the pick and roll. For some reason, we just don't care about that play anymore, even though it was really good last year.
Yeah, it was one of our most used dynamics, one of the most used combinations in the entire
Of
league.
any team.
Of any team. And there's just none of it.
And
It's
we
actually
decided
somehow
it was
even
just-
more ISO than it was before.
Well,
Yeah, it's so tough, and he's just like so much of his offense is just so difficult. It's these pull-up threes, it's these little mid-ranges we thought he left in 2022. It's like getting bitched at the rim by Ivica Zubac. It's hard. It's just so hard out there for him. And like the thing about Brunson is that Brunson is such an amazing player, but the one thing he is not amazing at on offense is that he is really not that fantastic of a passer, right? So he's not making it that much easier for Julius right now.
Yeah,
And
Brunson's
like
good enough, but it's not. That's not his game. He's a scorer.
he's not a maestro with it. And like, dude, the thing is, I actually don't hate our team anyway. I don't know if we've talked about this, but the Knicks right now have like an argument for like once you control for all the bullshit, like one of the best defensive teams in basketball thus far because we're second in defensive rating, and the team above us is the Wolves, who are allowing opponents to shoot like 31% from three. Talked about this last week. I'll repeat it until the end of the season. Opponent 3-point field goal shooting percentage is fake. Never look at it ever unless you're trying to say that something is fake. Like that shit is not real. The Wolves are not holding opponents to 32% from three for the season. They will never do that. The Knicks, we're like middle of the pack at that. I think we're like 12th in opponent 3-point shooting allowed. And even in spite of that, we're second in the league in defensive rating. We're killing on both sides of the glass. We're limiting points in the paint. We're scoring a lot of points in the paint. Like there are things behind the scenes that are not Julius Randle related that are really, really inspiring with this team so far. Not like bigger scheme inspiring, but it's like this is stuff we can build on. Speaking of teams who really should be running more pick and rolls for their two best players,
Well, okay.
this is the thing we talked about at the beginning of the season,
Yep.
and Bashiri and I did not see eye to eye on the Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo pick and roll.
I just cannot
usage.
believe that this is still a thing. It's
And
really.
I can
insane.
totally believe it because I said it was going to happen. If for those of you keeping score, that is 1 point for me. They don't do it. They really don't do it. I think it's like the 61st most common pick and roll duo in the NBA. They're behind like combinations.
On my Twitter.
Oh yeah, it's the one where they're below like Killian Hayes and his best friend, right? Like it's really tough, man. And the thing is, like you would have hoped, right? Like Dame is the screen god, like one of the best pick and roll like operators in NBA history. You would really hope that they would play to his strength and just like spam the fuck out of this with like their other best player, and they just haven't. And
yeah. It's not even just with Giannis. Like he's not doing a ton of pick and roll in general right now.
Yeah, it's weird. And like, dude, for all the hype and that we gave like Giannis about like he's the most physically similar player to Anthony Davis in the league, which I still believe is true. Dude, Connor, I don't know if you would agree with this, but Giannis on his screens, he's sometimes like kind of weak on them. Like
I was literally just gonna say that, and I was thinking that.
He's like 6'11", like 270, and he is like slipping these screens. Like, bro, just fucking like what I mean.
I have thought that every time I've watched this play so far this year because I mean, he's not. He's always been super underutilized as a screener, so we haven't really seen him do it a lot, like to this volume. There were some possessions last night. I think like the late third or maybe the early fourth, when Campaign was on the floor and he literally just went over to the left elbow and set a screen for Campaign. Four possessions in a row, they did the exact same thing, and it generated easy offense. And he was setting some pretty quality screens there, but yeah, I feel like generally, it's kind of weird to say he kind of sets weak ass screens, or like
he shies away from contact, and he's Giannis. Like, what are we doing?
It feels like he's trying to overutilize his gravity.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think some of that probably comes from last year. I mean, last year Giannis had one of the highest usage rates in NBA history. It might have been like third or fourth, or it was like in that realm. I think he's just trying to overutilize his gravity. And think that he can constantly bring, two to the roll and get someone open. And teams are kind of just letting him set these weak ass screens and getting over them. And then now we gotta rescreen, or we gotta empty a side and move to another action or something. Because teams aren't biting on it, and he's still kind of getting his legs under him. So he's looked better the last two games, but for the first few games it seemed like he kind of lacked that. The burst that he usually has on some of these finishes, just from not playing all summer. And so, yeah, I need him to set better, more quality screens. I need him to slip less, and just give Dame something to work with, because Dame has looked so very passive with us so far. Other than like the fourth quarters where he's taken over, it feels like for a lot of the game, he's just kind of like he's running the offense, but he's not the offense, if that makes sense. Like
he's
he's
not
just
running it with like as much initiative. And the thing is, he's such this incredible like hybrid player. Like he can score with or without the ball in his hands. Like he can come off curls and be Damian Lillard. But I feel like, bro, when like Giannis has the ball, Dame does like a lot of just hanging out. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, and that's not how you use Damian Lillard. Like he's not a hanging out ass player.
Yeah, for all the talk of like let Dame be Dame, and like like there's been very little of like Dame being Dame thus far, and I think that's
I think they're both in that
that's gonna need to
mindset.
happen.
I think they're both in that mindset is where the where it's conflicting. I think Giannis truly believes like I want this guy to succeed, and that's where a lot of his passiveness in the first few games came from. I mean, we had a game the other day where he only took like 10 shots. But then also on the other end, Dame has come into this team and is like, okay, this is Giannis's team. He's the better player. I have to figure out how to play with him. And a lot of times that's led to him just like you said, like he kind of just like hangs out sometimes.
Like, he just stands there. He
like-
does like the
like,
Trae Young hands on knees.
He'll
Like, bro, you
he'll
are
just
not
go
Trae Young.
spot up, or like they will finally run them two together, a PNR. And Giannis will set a weak ass screen and slip, and nothing will happen, and then Dame will just pass the ball to like Malik, and then it's like, okay, go rescreen for Malik in the corner. It's like
The Malik Beasley show.
bro, take the fucking ball to the cup. But I don't know.
I will say one of the things with your team that I'm a lot less concerned about, or less concerned relatively, is I know there's a lot made on Twitter on,
About the defense.
talking head shot about the fucking defense, dude. And like, look, we talked last episode about how like scheme overall, I think none of us really liked it and thought that hey, let's put Brook Lopez back in the drop, please. Like the players kind of had to tell Coach Griff to go do that, which is, you could say what you want about it, but now they're doing that again, which is good.
I view it as a positive thing personally. I don't think it's bad that we tried something new, and I think we can look at it positively in that this scheme that we had, Bobby Portis has looked fucking great in it. He did really get picked on last night.
He's not really a drop guy. He needs to he's more mobile than he is big.
No, and so he's been crapping the ball a lot. And I mean, he had a game the other night where he had like 2 steals back to back. Pressuring the ball at midcourt and just getting out and running. And so he's looked good in that. And so now, instead of just more drop spam when Brook is off the floor, and now we're putting Bobby in a situation where he has to protect the rim, and he can't do that. He's never been good at that. It's not an indictment on him. It's just not what he's good at. Now we've unlocked a scheme where we can look good and, be frenetic and cause some turnovers when Brook is off the floor and Bobby's at the 5, because there's going to be minutes for that. And so that's nice, and I think we have unlocked to a degree a certain level of scheme versatility, because we've had this problem our past few playoff runs where Brook Lopez can get played off the floor against certain teams. Start of the series he's playing his normal minutes, and then 4 games in he's playing like 21 minutes a night. And sometimes he's not playing in the whole fourth quarter. And so I think if I think it's fine that we tried this, and I view it positively that our staff and our players have that type of relationship where they went to him, they were like, hey, we've been here before, we want to, mix in some of our old stuff, and Brook Lopez had 8 blocks the first night that we went back to putting him in a heavy drop and funneling everything to him.
Yeah.
So, it's fine. We're learning. I think as long as we keep winning and we keep building on that, then I think it's all a positive experience. And I'm really happy with Griff's attitude about the whole thing. I think it would have been really easy for him to, just say, hey, we're gonna ride this out a little bit longer. And he has opted for a friendlier ecosystem with the players, and I think personally that's a really good thing. Other stuff I do need to address about our team. Listen, I am stepping down from my position as president of the Malik Beasley fan club.
I can't believe you ever held that.
I do still really fuck with him. I think he's good. I think he's been good for us.
He is the greatest overhelper I've ever seen.
I think now. Well, again, some of that was, by design, like Griff.
But some of that is just who he is, Like that's just...
Well, yeah, which is why I think he was good at it. But if it's not conclusive to winning and getting stops, he's fine. I like him. I still think he's good. I just think now that we're back in this drop scheme, having him at the point of attack is worse. Because he's a bad screen navigator. So having Brook at the level and then having Malik chase, and we could do like this show and recover thing where we pressure the ball, was good. Now that we're in a drop, it means that people are just getting wide open pull-ups for days. Because Malik can't get over a fucking screen. And he's not chasing to the same effect that he was able to before. And so I would like to announce my new partnership with the Jay Crowder fan club. I am coming on as a consultant for the Jay Crowder for the fifth starter fan club.
And was that like Chris at the 2?
Yeah, I mean, however you position basketball, however you want to. Jay would probably be guarding the point of attack in that scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been so damn good. For as much flack as he caught for not really getting played much in the playoffs and, generally being pretty bad when he did, I feel like it's been a little revisionist about how he played for us in the regular season last year. I think he was quite good after we acquired him, and he was doing a lot of stuff that I wasn't really expecting of him, and he's really carried that over. Whether you think the efficiency is going to stick around or not is, one thing. I think he's shooting like 44% from 3 or something right now.
52% from 3.
I just love that.
Will he ever miss again?
I love that man so much.
I mean, he's been like Jay Crowder.
No, he's really fucking hooping, but also like the connectivity on some of his passes is not something I was expecting. He's grabbing a lot of really important contested rebounds right now. He's just working, man. He's working, and I think he deserves it. Pat Connaughton has been really, 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 really bad, and I think Marjan needs some more opportunity, but I'm happy with where our team is overall.
Yeah. Jay Crowder just always finds himself on these good-ass teams because he just does that shit.
He's great, man.
He is so good at being that like fifth guy who doesn't really need the ball to be effective. He's all these little like micro skills, like like screen navigation and boxing out and just, like the being versatile. Like he's just excellent. One thing I was gonna say, why I wasn't that low on the Bucks defense, like compared to where they were, is that Milwaukee has had like perhaps the most, like on the defensive side of the ball, some of like the worst shooting variants in the NBA. Opponents are currently on wide open 3-point attempts shooting 46% against the Bucks. League average is about 38 on that. On long mid ranges, so past the free throw line arc out to like 3, they're shooting 51% against the Bucks. Some of that is getting absolutely fried by Cameron Thomas, but
yeah.
Can we talk about Michael Jordan when you're done? Oh my fucking god, that was so
a lot of that is just like it's unlucky. It's variance. It's a ballistic motion. Sometimes it goes and sometimes it doesn't. Like that's the league. Yeah, we can talk about Cam Thomas. I would like to preface this by saying I'm not much of a Cam Thomas believer. Still, I know he's looked super good and a lot of his shots have gone in. So I will let you guys take the lead on Michael Jordan.
Believe in these fucking buckets, boy.
Oh man.
I've been watching the Nets a bit. Like I said at the beginning of the season, I think they were going to be one of my league pass teams, and he's been really fun to watch. And now that I watched him do that against my team, I don't think I will ever watch another minute of Nets basketball again, and especially not him. He has clearly undergone some sort of voodoo magic ritual of some sort. I don't quite know what he's eating or if he's on some sort of substance, but he's been a fucking monster lately, man. Like timely shot making and
just gets buckets, bro. Like
the part that's really come along is like the counters to the counters and the progression, and like his decision making and how he scores. And like a lot of times, I feel like last year, a lot of the shit he was doing to us last night would have ended in like step back, contested pull up, and instead it's like, okay, I can fake. I have another year under my belt. I can fake this step back now, and now, I can get a step and I can get to the rim, and then next possession I can do the same thing, and then now I can finish with the other hand because they're going for my right hand, and it's shit like that. Like the progression of counters to counters to counters has been something really fun to
It
watch.
feels he's getting to his own spot easier. Like he's not as easily moved off of where he's trying to go.
Yeah, it's less influence.
Yeah, he's been getting to the rim pretty much
He
at
looks
will.
stronger. Like,
Yeah, he
like
does
in
look a
his
lot
legs.
stronger.
His legs
Visually.
are so fucking huge, man.
Yeah.
Like this guy.
Visually,
I don't
he
know-
looks jacked.
man.
Around the rim too, he's absorbing a lot more contact than he was before.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen that play where he just like his like flexibility and like strength have been like super impressive. The one where he's like on the left side block and he just basically does like a full three, like 180 hop step
Yeah,
and then banks it
yeah.
off the glass.
Yeah.
Like it's really impressive. It reminds me, and like I used to call him this as like a derogatory word because someone that neither or none of us really favor.
Oh, hold
I
on,
used
what?
to call him like I broke boy DeMar DeRozan.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But now he's just like normal or mostly normal looking DeMar DeRozan thus far. Like or younger DeMar DeRozan specifically, because older DeMar is like a more proficient playmaker.
He's like
and-
young Joe Johnson.
No, I
Oh,
don't
okay.
think I would go for that. I don't know. I don't know.
Not quite,
I
not
like
quite
Joe
the shooting talent.
Not the shooting talent, not the defensive talent either.
I did not say that.
Cam still has like the rest of basketball to figure out, which is exciting because he can get a lot better. But like this like little pull up shot making bit is like it looks really good. It looks awesome, and I'm happy for the Nets because God knows they need that on offense. They need some sort of like robust form of putting the ball in the basket right now. Yeah, shout out to the Nets. Shout out Cam Thomas. I hope he keeps it going. Maybe he can just turn into like normal, like young DeMar DeRozan, like Raptors DeMar, before he became like
Yeah.
a good playmaker.
The thing
It's
is,
funny
he's
you
not
should say
he's
that.
not yet like a super positive NBA player yet. Like he's got the scoring stuff down and he's looking really polished there. It's just kind of some of the auxiliary stuff needs to come along.
He
The
needs to, like,
outside shot
contribute besides
making,
that.
yeah, the playmaking, the defense, anything really. Like if some of that comes along, then you got like a good NBA player on your hands. And the exciting part is that he just turned 22. Like there's so much room to grow with this kid. And
Last season, watching Cam Thomas reminded me of that one video on Twitter of that dude from OTE. What's his name? Fucking Rob Bellingham.
Rob Dillingham
Rob Dillingham, yeah.
had a great game last night, by the way, for Kentucky.
That one where people say it looks like he's playing in LA Fitness in a black tank. That was what watching Cam Thomas was like last year. Was
Yeah.
like, holy fuck, this is so fun. What is he doing?
Yeah,
And
he's
now
just
it's
like creative
dude.
and free flowing with it.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, he looks like a real.
And
like,
he's
quality
getting
NBA
it.
player.
He's getting them with a lot less free throws than that explosion that he had in the middle of the season last year. Like I think in those games he shot like 12 or 13 free throws a game or something, which is just not
Yeah,
something
it
that,
wasn't
like,
real.
Like that's not something that he's gonna be able to do. But he's around like, 6.5 free throws a game, and I think he can probably maintain like 5 to 6 for the year. I don't think he's gonna keep averaging 29 for the whole year, but I mean, yeah, if he's able to score this much on like that kind of volume, he's getting to the rim. If his shooting improves a bit, I mean, he's gonna score a lot of points. Like,
Yeah, and I mean I do have faith in the 3-point shot just because he is such a good like mid range and free throw shooter, which means his mechanics are not jank, his touch is
Yeah.
not jank. Like he can do it. It's just a matter of if he does do it. Oh man, a lot of exciting young players we get to talk about today, man. This is a cool one. It's a little dull because, bro, we were shitting on the Spurs earlier about how they're like actually pretty bad.
Dude, that game was
But-
fucking rad though.
Bro,
Yeah.
that game was so sick. I don't know about you guys. That game finish, And like I was up like reheating some Chinese food. My mom came in and was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just eating." By the way, have you seen this Victor Wembanyama kid? And me and my mom like 2 a.m. just watch highlights in the kitchen, and it was fucking
Aw,
sick. Yeah, no, it's a moment, and like
that's wholesome.
it is, yeah. And bro, the fact that on a court with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, Victor Wembanyama looked like the best player by like kind of a lot. It's kind of insane to think about. Like it wasn't just like, oh my god, he's taking all these bullshit shots that are open and getting lucky. It's like, no, he's like dogging them on both sides of the floor, and they can't hang with him. Like they're just like throwing up lobs to him. It's like, why do they have this child guarding him? Wait, that's Drew Eubanks. He's 6'11", 265
Why
pounds.
do they have a
Like,
small on Victor Wembanyama? Right? What's going on? Wait, that's Kevin Durant. What the fuck is
yeah,
happening?
it's like it's just so unfair. Like they figured out like, hey, this guy has a literal 8 foot wingspan. If you just like throw it in like the zip code of the basket, he can just get it. Um, and then the defense, man, he warps the court in such a bullshit way. Like guys stop looking at the rim after like a few drives on him. It's oh man,
Yeah, watching Grayson
I don't even want to
Allen
doom
just
about
like
the Suns, man. That's just
kind
too
of
exciting.
waltz into the paint on Spurs perimeter defenders, see Vic just like looking up like a fucking child, and then just like, nah, I think I'll kick this one back out. It's really
Yeah,
like comedic.
To
dude.
be a walking mismatch as a rookie is so crazy. Like to just be a rookie and like you said warp the court like that on every possession on both ends of the floor is so special.
Walking
And
mismatch on both sides, bro.
right,
You know what his like on off is right now? Like I know they suck, but do you know what his on off is right now?
what's up?
It starts with a 2, and then there's another digit after that.
Holy
He's
fucking
like plus 20
nonsense.
something right now.
Yeah,
Spurs are like a basically a 500 team with him on the floor, and then become like the worst thing you've ever seen when he leaves. And like, sure, it's only like 100 minute split, but like, bro, that's fucking crazy. Like, they're really not that good outside of him, and he is like super good. Like I think this is like the quickest I've believed in a long time. Like I see this kid, and I'm like, this is like an above average NBA starter. It's been 7 games. I'm like, I'm convinced. And the defense is just too good, and like the
Yeah.
offense is fine. Like it has nights where like he kind of struggles, and then it has nights where it's like, what do you even do?
yeah. I mean, to have 38 in your fifth NBA game against Kevin Durant,
Yeah.
who, mind you, Vic said he watched a lot of growing up, like, which is just so crazy to think about. Um, it's special, man. It was so. I'm trying to think of how to word this. It felt so fake for so like it felt like we were waiting for so long. It was like the Mets season is over and we're almost at the draft and the draft has happened and now we're waiting for, preseason and all that and summer league and it's like it feels like we've been waiting for
Yeah.
so long.
But
It felt like
he's
it was
real and
never
he's
going to
here.
come. And he's just here and it's like
He's real, and he's probably better than we thought.
and to have him and Chet who are both in my opinion exceeding expectations, like it's crazy.
Bro, Chet's a freak. We gotta talk about Chet.
I love Chet. I love Chet Holmgren.
Dude, Chet, oh man, the Chet Holmgren fan club podcast is coming out next week. Um, man, that that like series of games that the Thunder played this week, like not to jump off of Vic too fast, like there's just a lot to cover.
Yeah.
A lot of teams have played a lot of games, but like man,
We love Vic over here. We love Vic over here. Let it be known.
big Vic fans, but like also, bro, Chet Holmgren is like this rookie of the year shit is like kind of getting interesting now because he has looked
Yeah.
stellar.
What impresses
He-
me the most about Chet is
man.
how confident he's been. Like he just looks so
Yeah.
poised no matter what he's doing, like taking every shot, whether around the rim, he just looks like zoned in. Like there's no hesitation in any of his movements right now. It's incredible.
Bro, Chet with the ball in his hands, he is nice with it, man. He is legit nice with it. Like, oh my god, and like, man, like I know Vic is like just this total like freak show Eiffel Tower thing, that you just like plant wherever, and he just like can affect shots like no one else. But and I think I mentioned this before. The way Chet can just like, when you get to the rim and he's there, and he can just like time you up and just make it impossible. Like who is it that he's been like farming guys for blocks and steals and like contests, and I think I saw it the other day. I think he was like top three in the entire NBA at one point, and like shots contested already, which is so
Yeah, that's
incredibly
insane.
unreal. I need to find the number real quick when you guys can tap in quickly. But like,
I
oh
just
my
think I
goodness,
think NBA fans need to really sit down and understand and appreciate the magnitude of what we're seeing right now. Like this rookie of the year race, like I feel like coming into the year, again, getting caught up in all the Wemby hype, which is warranted. It was really easy to say that he was just going to run away with it, and maybe the only person who we thought could come close was Scoot, and we'll talk about that guy
oh
eventually.
boy,
Um,
maybe next episode.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Hey,
hey,
I got some
not
stuff to
to
say next time.
not today, brother. Ain't nothing nice to talk about.
Oh boy.
But so to have to me, it's very close. I honestly, I don't know. I probably just because of his performance versus Phoenix, I would probably lean Wemby at this point. But like, it's very close to me. It's not a runaway.
Bro, I found the stat. This is so fucking ridiculous. Chet Holmgren is second in the entire NBA in contested 2-point shots per game. Do you know who's around him? Right above him is Brook Lopez. Right below him is Nick Claxton, Joel Embiid, Evan Mobley, Anthony Davis.
That is crazy.
Holy shit.
Those players. And then Chet Holmgren is just right there chilling among them.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, honestly, I gotta say, like,
oh my god.
obviously Vic had the incredible game against the Suns, but I mean, if we're talking like for the whole season, I think Chet's probably been better like thus far.
I mean, his efficiency has been
He's
unreal.
shooting the shit out of the ball. It's
Yeah.
so
That's
wild.
valid.
And I mean, that might go away, but like, or well, it will go away. He's not gonna shoot 50.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
but
not.
like,
He's 14 for 26. Keep in mind, but it. I mean, on
he's
both
always a
ends. He's
better
just
shooter than
so
Vic.
polished. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
yeah, and oh man, it's special. It moves a man truly.
I was not expecting him to average 17 right out of the gate.
I wasn't either, and I
Yeah.
really like him. I thought it was gonna be like a good 14 with like great
Yeah.
defense.
Especially with how many like options they have, but they've been getting all their guys involved really well.
I really like the Thunder, man. The Thunder are so cool.
I'm interested if he has he has a true shooting percentage of 71.5. Let me you guys keep talking. I just want to see something.
Yeah, I mean, do we want to go into like the Thunder as well? I feel like we talked about them already, more or less, right?
Yeah, I mean,
But, like,
yeah, I feel like
I feel like we just had
talked
to
enough about the Thunder.
reference that little the little
Yeah.
rookie of the year race that's boiling, because man, it is exciting. This is like the most exciting one we've had in a while, because last year was like last year Paolo ran away with it in like 3 weeks, even if he wasn't that great all season. And then before that, it was like the Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball shit was weird. The Cade, like the Evan Mobley, Scotty, like again, these guys were all like okay. Like these
Yeah.
are two guys who are both playing excellent ball already.
Yeah, it felt like
As
we had a
rookies.
lot of very like good for rookies kind of.
It's like the
kind
Donovan
of years.
Mitchell, Ben Simmons race, kind of.
Yeah.
Because also because there's a second-year player, but like,
Yeah. But I mean, Chet is like a good NBA player right now. Victor is a good NBA player right now. Like,
yeah,
we're
that is so
a
rare.
couple weeks into the season.
Yeah, man, what exciting. What you looking up, Connor?
Chet, I was just curious about like the true shooting and stuff like that. And Chet is 10th in the whole league right now in true shooting, and he is 6th in players who have played over 200 minutes.
Wow.
Wow.
Which, mind you, this is something crazy that I want to talk about either today or next time. Steph Curry is 7th in the league at 73% right now.
Man,
We definitely got to talk about him at some point because
my fantasy guy. What else is there to say? He's the best offensive player ever.
he's been fucking fantastic, man.
Oh man.
Yeah,
The
Chet
thing is-
actually leads the NBA in contested 2-pointers, in total contested twos right now. Per game, it's Brook, but Chet's has 9
My
more
heart.
than him right now.
Oh, we're so here.
That is incredible.
Pet bros. We're actually so back.
Speaking of the vibes being good, let's talk about
Some improved vibes from some vibes that were dead maybe earlier.
We wanted to make an episode about this individually, but things just got a little busy, so we're rolling it into here now. November 1st at 2 o'clock in the morning. God knows why. That was so strange. Was anyone else awake for that?
I think
No.
James might have gotten back from the club and done
Dude,
finished his physical.
I got up an hour later, and I had a message from one of our friends who's a very big Clippers fan, and it was from like 2:30 a.m. and she's like, "Okay, so we're same team now, yes?" And because my favorite player is James Harden, um, dude, what the fuck?
James Harden to the Los Angeles Clippers for Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, and some assortment of picks. The Clippers get back their pick from the I don't remember exactly how it went.
I have it all pulled up here.
Yeah, let's read it out.
So the 76ers received Kenya Martin Jr., Marcus Morris Sr., Nicholas Batum, Robert Covington, a 2028 first round pick, a 2029 first round pick. I believe that's the swap. One of those is a swap. A 2024 second round pick, a 2029 second round pick, and $2 million in cash. And the Clippers also, they traded a swap back to the Thunder, to reroute another pick.
Right,
to,
that's what it was.
It's 2026 for 2026. The odd
Yeah.
years of the swaps, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
So 2027
so that they
swaps to
could
the
fix
Thunder,
their
2026.
step in or something.
Yeah, 2026.
And the Clippers received James Harden, PJ Tucker, and Philip Petrusev, who I think
Who they already
actually got
released.
waived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PJ's there for the vibes.
So Philly gets a bunch of wings, which is nice because I feel like that was something that they were lacking. But we already kind of talked about some of that.
Go Batum. Rest of those guys stink, but go Batum.
Yeah, it's really sad because, I feel like I'm fairly integrated with NBA Twitter, and I'm really gonna miss seeing the Clippers fan base beef with Morris Muse, the Marcus Morris fan account. It was always so funny to see them beefing after games and stuff, and like seeing Clippers fans fucking hated Marcus Morris Sr. Like,
Oh yeah, they do.
I mean,
with
he was
everything.
terrible. He was
Yeah.
he was bad, and bro, they did not like him at all, and so I'm gonna miss that. But let's talk about the basketball part of it. Honestly, PJ Tucker being included in this is kind of nasty. Like, I really like that for the Clippers. And talking about a bargain, like you said, I mean, Nick Batum is good, but again, his ceiling is he's a role player. He's a complimentary piece. And three players that really you don't care about. Some of them you just wanted gone, explicitly wanted them gone. And clearly they don't care much about draft capital over in LA. And so getting James Harden and PJ Tucker, who's a pretty quality player, for salary reasons, that's I don't need to tell you that's a haul. We can just kind of get more into the basketball aspects of it.
It's gonna be. Oh man.
We are recording this after they have played their first game, and so we got to see
Right,
a
Harden's
little bit
debut
what
was
some of them
last
have done.
night. Kind of got
He was pretty
spoiled
good.
by the New
They
York Knicks.
lost. Yeah,
He was
thought he
quite
pretty
good. I liked how he played a lot.
Yeah,
I think
Paul George just had like his worst game of the season.
Yeah, there was also going to be some growing pains with how many just fucking guys they have. Like, obviously, they have to kind of figure out how the fit's going to work, especially with Man out. They're starting Russ and Harden at the same time. They're going to need to like figure out how to do that because obviously Russ has been the main ball handler so far, and he's going to have to figure out how to not do that because obviously Harden's going to have the ball. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought in general they looked pretty good against us. Like Harden looked fine, Kawhi played well, Russ was all right. He had a pretty decent game. PG sucked.
They got a lot of good shots.
He's been incredible all season, and that's probably not going to be the case. Like, he's not going to just shoot bad. So I don't know. I like their team. I think the fit isn't. It's not a perfect fit, but it's a good fit. And yeah, I mean I can see them being potentially just under that, like, top contender status in the conference.
Yeah, they'll be fighting for like third-ish. their offensive process was actually kind of good
Hmm.
last night. They just missed a lot of really makeable shots, and then on the other end, they got fucking dogged on the glass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like what I've seen so far. I think Ty Lue early has figured out a way. I mean, it's rudimentary at best right now, and like there's a lot of very simplistic actions that they're running, but you know, basic stuff that you want to see so far, where screening actions where on some possessions this can be a slip from Zubac, but more often than not, you might just Paul George. If you're part of this screening, you might have an open three right here, or
Mhm.
depending on where people are cutting, okay, we can get Kawhi in the corner here. I think they did a decent job of that last night, considering. I mean, I don't know, did they even practice?
Probably not.
Yeah, they probably haven't
Like,
had a practice
Yeah.
yet.
And I mean, yeah, James is one of like just the absolute best in the league in history, really, of like those like pick and roll navigation decisions where it's making that pocket pass, making the behind the back to the guy who pops instead of rolls, like making the little lob to anyone who wants to
And that's
score from
really
the
all
wing.
I've asked for that team for a long time now. I mean, they've been moaning about needing a point guard for as long as I can remember,
Yeah.
and I never thought that they needed someone of this caliber. I have been saying for a very long time they just need someone who can make better decisions in the pick and roll consistently, and who can move the ball the right way. And they got that, and fucking then some. I would not expect this team to score 97 points again for a while. Especially, I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are
I mean,
historically
we're one of the
speaking, you guys are
best
a good
defenses
defense,
in the league
like a
right
great
now.
defense. And like
But yeah,
we
this
said,
team's gonna score a lot of points.
if they will do nothing else, they will score a lot of points. I like before the season started, I liked the different looks you can give in the front court with Zubac and Plumlee. I don't like that as much now because of the lack of wings. They
And
went
Plumlee
from
is now in question. He
yeah,
got hurt last night.
no. They went from having all the wings to Amir Coffee. Get in there.
I really wish they had managed to keep the two men because they kind of he is like the perfect fifth piece for this when man comes back. Like they just a guy to rotate in at the forward spot. But
Yeah, but I
uh,
mean, when you have PG and Kawhi, you can kind of deal with not
yeah,
having
Kawhi can play the four. He's
sick
big. He's
wings.
strong.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. You
It's just
kinda
when they
wish that
come
you had
out.
another good
Yeah,
player.
Powell
Yeah.
can play the three. PJ is fine for spot minutes at the four. Like it's all right.
Hmm.
Yeah, they ran a
Yeah.
lineup last night. It was like
They did play Diabate against us, or Diabate against us, which I
Diamante.
found
And
a
they
bit,
played Kobe Brown.
found
dude,
a
they
bit
ran a
questionable.
lineup last night that was like Bones Highland, Norman Powell, Amir Coffey, Paul George, and Zubac. I was like, dude, what the fuck am I seeing? Right, like my eyes are bleeding.
Hopefully,
nightmare.
Kobe Brown can show something for them to where he can like get a little bit of run there. He's got the size.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I don't know what draft equity they have left, but if they were gonna pivot again,
What kind of
yeah,
pivot
wings,
would they do? Bro, it's
just
over.
wings,
It might be
wings,
over, man. Like
a
I mean,
wing. Or
the
maybe
thing is,
wild card.
like they are so all in, and I kind of love this, but you're gonna hate this in a while because, dude, the thing is, like, if Harden is to be believed about his like long-term contract goals, he's gonna want like 35, 40 to stay,
Yeah.
right? Kawhi and PG are still they have player options next year. They're probably gonna take those, I would imagine, unless they're restructuring long term, which seems unlikely. Um, So you're in a really weird spot where it's either one of them leaves off the player option, or if you're planning on keeping all of them and they opt in, unless someone like takes a weird pay cut, bro, you are talking about so much money, like
I mean, that's
so
not
much,
to mention
so
they have
much.
they have his early bird rights now, but I think that only allows them to pay him up to like 12 or 14 million or something. Russell Westbrook took a pay cut to be here. Not that we weren't sure what free agency was going to look like for him, but I have a feeling people figured he was going to make a hell of a lot more than 4 million. And he's looked quite good for them, and he feels like he's at home here, and he really fits with his team, and so he took a pretty big pay cut to be here. And I would expect PG and Kawhi to both decline and sign long term, for a couple of reasons. I mean, the Intuit Dome being built is one of them. Just long term commitment to the franchise.
Yeah,
and
I think now
long-term
that
commitment from
Harden's
the
here,
franchise.
that kind of changes the outlook for this team. Like we all considered this to kind of be their last go around with this core, like PG Kawhi.
I think they thought that too, and I don't think they think that anymore.
Yeah, I think now that they've managed to bring Harden in, Harden obviously wants a long-term deal, and he wouldn't have this Clippers thing wouldn't have happened if they didn't intend to sign him long-term. So I imagine at least those three will be here for the foreseeable future. So
If I'm PG and Kawhi, fuck yeah, I'm re-signing.
yeah,
Our future was kind of uncertain before. We didn't really know what was going to happen after
I was
this year.
very certain there is no future. You got to win fucking now.
yeah, exactly.
You do, but also they're in a position where obviously they're going to sign James Harden long term. They have leverage now to say to the organization, okay, we haven't been, up to where we want to be the last few years, but James is here now long term. You sign us long term. We're playing in our brand new arena. We're going to make you a shit ton of money. I feel like there's more. I feel like there's more incentive from both sides now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure James will stay. I'm not sure he'll stay. He's been very vocal about wanting like a big long-term deal with lots of money on it.
I don't think
there's some teams with some max loss this season. I'm just saying some pretty good teams. The Orlando Magic are going to have like 40 million cap, and that's a cool looking team.
Stop playing, bro. Stop.
That's a cool looking team.
He's not.
Yeah, I mean, I think
he's not going.
I think knowing what we know about James, obviously it's not a guarantee that he's gonna stay. But
yeah.
I don't think this whole scenario would have happened if he and the Clippers didn't intend to reach some sort of agreement for future years.
I also think they can pay him. Like I think they do have his full bird, in which case they can give him like the 35-40 he wants. Which
Harden?
I would assume, assume he's like cool with taking. Man,
I would be pretty
that
cool
team's
with
about to
$40
make-
million.
Yeah,
that repeater tax is about to go insane. I was looking at it the other day, and unless they get like a crazy pay cut, like assuming PJ, assuming they want to keep Plumlee, and assuming PJ like stays because he has an option as well. Bro, that repeater tax could be more than their actual salary, which is fucking hilarious.
that is insane.
Hey, Steve Ballmer is on record as just not giving a fuck whatsoever about the financials.
Air money don't make money, and so
Dude, ain't that the fucking truth?
Oh man. Oh boy.
Lakers?
Yeah, we can
Lakers.
take it across
The
town
Clippers
maybe.
did play the Lakers. Did you guys see that game between the Clippers and the Lakers? I know
Yeah,
almost
I did,
everyone that
yeah.
we know besides me watched it.
Yeah, that was a banger.
Yeah. It was a pretty fun game. It kind of feels a bit overshadowed now that the Harden trade happened in between.
Yeah,
then
it wasn't
now.
real.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a cool game. The Lakers ended up winning in overtime. The Lakers kind of, the big ass dogged him a little bit, and D'Lo went, crazy.
He had his
especially in
weekly good
overtime.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I want to give a lot of credit to Paul George. He has been so fantastic to start the year. Obviously, he had that
He's been
lackluster
really
game
great.
the other day against you guys, but I mean,
Yeah.
shit, let me hop on B-ball reference just so I can get
And I mean, the
exact
shot
numbers
making
here.
has been incredible.
He has been spectacular. I just want to make sure I quote exact figures. 25.7 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 51% from the field, damn near 47% from 3.
Yeah, he scored 10 last night. I think before that he was averaging like 28 and a half a game.
Yeah, no,
That was one of the
there.
things I was worried about, actually, like long term for Paul George, is that it felt like the past few years, like he's always been this incredible shooter, and he was only just kind of good for like this most recent season and the season before it. But like his free throw percentage is way up. Like he looks really comfortable getting into his shots, and it feels like he's going to have a lot more open ones now. So I hope he can get, because the version of Paul George that shoots like 40% from 3 is like very easily a top 20 player in basketball. I feel good about that.
Yeah.
They just need him to do that.
And that's kind of been
Because,
a problem for this Clippers core as we've seen them since PJ and Kawhi got there, is that their offense has always performed really well, but they have had pretty poor shot quality in general.
Yeah.
Between
it's just
the two
in
of
the
them.
process is so hard, and they're relying on like, hey
Yeah.
man, go be PG, go be Kawhi. Like you don't have to do that as much to get good offense, which is great.
Like even at that towards the end of last season, Russ was getting them some easy ones that they wouldn't have had before, and now they're just going to be getting fed like crazy. But yeah,
Okay,
crosstown.
the Lakers?
Yeah, I mean the Lakers. I don't know. They're
Don't talk about what they did last night because they were on national TV and that was really funny.
Can we talk
Yeah,
about
it's-
this and then move on? Just because we've covered them pretty heavily so far.
Yeah.
Well, can we talk about last night or just this game?
Yeah,
of
no,
the
no,
Clippers?
no, we can talk.
Oh, yeah, we could talk
Yeah,
about last
I like
night. Where
last
they,
night.
oh man, that was a funny ass
Yeah.
game, bro. Holy smokes! Oh my god! And it's not just because he bricked the game winner, though. That was really funny that he did that. Like, dude, this guy is like. You look at him, and it's not just that he's missing shots, because everyone misses shots. That's a thing that happens. It's like, have you guys seen the Twitter clip from like 2 weeks ago? It was of Moses Brown, not Cam Reddish, but it's of Moses Brown, and there's like an offense swirling around him, and he's just kind of like standing there like a deer that was just born, and it's like, oh my god, that's what Cam Reddish looks like on almost every possession where he's not literally standing in the corner. And it is
Remember when
like,
my fan base wanted us to send you guys Grayson Allen for him?
Oh
or
my
Cam
god.
Reddish.
I would have been
Dude,
so
oh
fucking
my
happy,
god. Oh my god, we needed that. We actually needed that. It's tough, man. The Lakers' depth has been perhaps even worse than I thought it was going to be. And I already was like on pod saying that I thought it was going to be pretty bad. Dude, they need guys.
yeah.
They need dudes.
Austin Reeves is
Reeves
finally
had a great
trying to
game.
figure it out.
Finally.
He's been great the last like 2 games. He's been pretty good. He seems like he's finally coming out of his shooting slump. 23, 10, 9 assists.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a lot of questions now still. I mean, particularly we dissected it a lot when we talked about the Nuggets game last week. I mean, the front court depth is just fucking atrocious. And there's not a lot of people outside of LeBron and kind of Austin Reeves who can like really get to the rim at will. I feel like D'Lo can sometimes. He just more often than not chooses not to.
He's like the most ephemeral player in NBA history.
He's more like a finesse guy.
Yeah.
He's like a dice roll guy, man. I don't know.
They really need someone who can get downhill and get to the rim.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of their fan base on Twitter asking them to trade for wings. Like I keep seeing Dorian Finney-Smith Lakers photoshops. And I'm like, brother,
that's
that
just what that's just kind of what Lakers fans do, bro. Like they gas up these guys for the whole season. They're like, yo, we need to trade for them. We need to get this guy. We need to sign this guy. They'll get the guys.
Don't start that shit here, bro. Don't start that shit here. No, I'm not trying to have them on our shit, bro.
And then the next season, they're like, yo, this guy stinks. Why did we get this guy that we asked for 6 months? It's like, oh, man.
The thing is, with the Lakers, it's like, on the one hand, it's like, if you were an optimist, you could say they're getting unlucky with their shot making, that they're only shooting 30% from 3 as a team. But in my head, I'm like, that doesn't sound that far off from their talent level.
I just see very
30% no, but like 33. Like the Lakers feel like a 33% from 3 as team right
Yeah.
now.
I was gonna save a lot of this for the Grizzlies stuff, but fuck it, I'm gonna go on B-ball index. You guys can keep talking. I'm gonna do some research.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really see, like, they already don't have much shooting talent, and that hasn't really changed from last season. Like, it's still LeBron and AD, and...
It's just live inside and pray.
Yeah, D'Lo he can shoot, but he's no sniper. Austin Reeves is obviously, like, a good shooter. Like, that's fine, but he's not a high-volume guy. And... From the rest of their lineup, they don't have a ton of good shooters. Taurean Prince is a good shooter. Cam Reddish is a fucking horrific shooter. Christian Wood's a good shooter, but then you have to play Christian Wood. They
don't have a ton of guys who get to the rim easily, but they also have a bunch of guys who can really only score at the rim. Because you can't rely on them to shoot well outside.
All right.
It's tough.
I put some things together. So, this is all via B-ball index, and we're going in percentiles. So, this is what percentile of the league their roster is in. 3-point shooting talent. They are in the 7th percentile, which is worst in the entire association. The only 2 worst 3-point shooting teams this season. It's the Spurs and the Magic, and it's not by much. 3-point shot quality. It's actually in the 93rd percentile, but 3-point shot creation is 21%. So when they do generate threes, they're actually generating some of the cleanest, most open threes, but they're generating it at the 7th lowest clip in the league. 3-point shot making, 10%, 4th worst in the entire league. So that's some of the 3-point get more into the drives and the attempts at the rim and stuff, which is, to me, their biggest problem. Drives per 75, 17th percentile, 5th worst in the league. Total shots at the rim per 75. It's actually fairly high, 72%. I feel like a lot of that is via...
That's an Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis, right?
Yeah.
And this supports it because when you go to unassisted rim field goal attempts, it's 45%, which is like... It's like slightly below average. Rim shot quality, 34%, 11th worst in the league. Like,
it's
I
just
can...
a struggle for them.
I mean, I can keep going if you want, but like it's bad. It's bad. When they do get to the rim shot making is competent and it's actually quite above average, but the shot quality is always poor and it's like low volume.
Yeah.
So
LeBron's at this stage where he's no longer he's still the freight train when he gets the head of steam, but it just takes him longer to do it now.
Yeah.
And it's he's not just like a blow by you, get to the rim. They don't really have any blow by you, like knife the defense. Like Schroeder was like kind of important for that, and it was tough. They lost him. I mean, it's not like panic mode necessarily, but like you are concerned, I think, at how not easy things look for the Lakers night in night out on the offensive end outside of like LeBron AD pick and rolls.
I mean, I said it when they played the Nuggets that first game. I was like, I'm very concerned by how little above the break threes they're generating. And it's just a lot of like weak side corner dot. And yeah, I mean, clearly it's an issue spanning beyond one game.
Oh man.
Do we want to get into some of the Grizzlies stuff while I'm on B-ball index?
I mean, we can. I was thinking about saving that for the end, but like we can do that.
No, you wait.
Well, you mentioned
While
the
we're on
Magic.
the topic.
You did mention the Magic as well in one of those stats. We did have the Lakers did play the Magic, and I think in general we wanted to talk about the Magic because they were doing like kind of a surprising amount of winning, right?
Which is, I mean, I knew the 3-point situation wasn't great, but honestly, that's actually pretty impressive. More so now that they're winning as much as they are, and they're the second worst 3-point shooting team in the league.
In the league, and they're not like they're not getting crazy lucky on like opponent 3-point shooting or anything. It's just like a thing that's been happening.
Third rated in the whole league.
Yeah, behind the Knicks and the Timberwolves, who we'll talk about those guys too. I really like I said last week I like the Magic. I think Jalen Suggs has turned into like a guy who chucks, but also one of the better point of attack defenders in the league at this point. Like I think he's definitively above average at that now. Paolo Banchero has figured out that he's like athletic and 6'11" and strong, and he is now using that more effectively on defense. I feel like Franz Wagner has always been a good defender and continues to make strides there. Wendell Carter is a great rim deterrent and rim protector, does excellently there. In general, I think Jamal Mosley just does a good job of getting his guys to like play above their pay grade on defense. And I mean, yeah, it's not even like they're getting some crazy variance on opponent 3-point shooting. Like they close out possessions better than anyone else. And I don't really care about rebounding that much. I care about defensive rebounding mainly for like teams, not for players, but for teams, because the player signal can be on and off. The Magic close possessions really well. They do a good job of not letting teams eat on the glass. And in general, I think they limit quality 2-point attempts. They limit quality 3-point attempts. And
their guards are really good rebounders, especially.
Their guards
Suggs,
rebound well.
Fultz, Cole, like they all rebound really well, especially offensively.
I force a ton of turnovers, so many turnovers.
I have become a Jalen Suggs enjoyer. He has been so.
No, I don't enjoy him.
Good. He's good. Like
the
thing is, he will still struggle with the putting the ball in the hoop thing, but he can play make and he can really defend. Like he's not just he can really defend. Like he is big, he is strong, he gets around screens well, he has such fluid hips. He's like he can guard off ball, on ball, he can chase you around.
You sound freaky as hell right now.
Hey man. Hey.
He's big, he's strong, really, his hips are fluid.
The unfortunate part is that at some point he's gonna need to figure out the ball and hoop thing. Like this.
No, yeah, for sure.
This kind of play is like obviously like he is I would say he's a top. Maybe he's top 5 percentile perimeter defender in the league right now. I would say, probably like a top 10 to 15 percentile defender overall, but that kind of player doesn't survive in this league as a guard without
without some sort of
without
offensive
scoring talent.
value.
Yeah.
I don't even think it needs to be scoring talent necessarily. Just big
He's
scoring
gotta be able
talent.
to
I think it's
shoot.
the playmaking talent. It's the shooting. It's the playmaking. I think.
I think
he's
even with
been-
the playmaking, like there, I mean, we've talked about that part at length, but like even if he's turns into some quality playmaker, like there's so little value in that when you're
he just has
as
to add something.
poor of a scorer as he is.
Yeah, he needs to add.
Like I think if
something,
he
but
added
it's-
some kind of like even just league average outside shooting, like even with the level of playmaking he's at now, I think that would be like a solid NBA player.
That's just a good player.
Yeah.
That's a quite good player. If a Jalen Suggs that shoots like 36% from three, that is maybe even a great player. Like,
Yeah.
man,
But
I
he's
really
just
hope
he's
it
so
comes
far
together
off
for them.
from that at this point that it's like
Yeah,
it's hard for me to see that being a reality.
yeah, and I feel like the looks are getting better this year too, as well. Like I think the Magic as a whole, like Paolo seems to he's been more efficient from the field. Like I think he's making much better decisions with the ball. Has been like the big thing that I've taken away from watching the Magic is that Paolo. I mean, like his assist numbers are up. A lot of that is a function of him just having the ball more, but also he's just making better reads. Like he's realized, hey, I'm Paolo Banchero. I am like 6'11" and have like some guard skills here and there. I can just like go in and like
Yeah.
create advantages, and he does a good job of that, and Franz does a good job of that, and it makes things just a little bit easier. I don't know. I don't expect them to remain like firmly in the playoff picture. Like they were like 4-1 to start the season. Now lost a couple in a row, but this is a team
Yeah.
where I really can see them competing in the play-in and like not just making it, but like maybe like sneaking into the postseason if they get lucky.
At least on the offensive end, for me, the process for the Magic looks a lot better than it used to.
Yeah, I think a lot
especially-
of that is Paolo.
Yeah, for sure. Especially without Fultz. Like without Fultz before, their offense looked really, really bad. Now, even when he doesn't play, they're generating good looks. A lot of it just
Yeah.
isn't going in, except for fucking Cole Anthony. He's
And you know who else it is?
for
man.
for everyone else, pretty much like their shots are just like not going in at all.
Sorry I was quiet for so long. I just wanted to contextualize some of the Jalen Suggs propaganda being had here. Some interesting stats. These are all from this season. I guess I can up these minutes a little bit more. 94th percentile ball screen navigator, 86th percentile in off-ball chaser defense. Let me see where he is for. Let me see where that is relative to his position.
Yeah, I was gonna say roll adjust that, but like I mean, it's still gonna be good. Like he's
Yeah.
just very good at it.
Let me go. Maybe above 1,000 minutes.
Well, it's last year, but yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, it's gonna be last year. Whoops.
But I mean, he was still great at it last year too, and I think he's been even better. I would say he's been even better. Like he looks stronger. He looks a little quicker.
You guys can keep talking. Sorry.
I'd say his instincts are a little bit more developed. Like he's like reacting less on the ball. Like I feel like he's controlling his assignments a lot more.
He's becoming a bit of like a playmaker defensively.
Yeah,
even.
yeah.
Like,
He's making things happen rather than just like
Yeah.
staying in front of guys really well.
and that's the type of player on defense that I love. And I know not everyone loves that, but I'm like a big like Matisse Thybulle enjoyer, right? Where I think the most impactful thing you can do on the perimeter, more impactful than just staying in front of a guy and locking onto him, is just like being able to like create problems. You know what I mean? Like blow up actions, create turnovers, and he's getting really, really good at that.
Yeah.
While
Okay,
also being
I give
a
up.
sound
I couldn't
defender.
find what I wanted. It's all good.
It's fine. But yeah, no. Shout out Jalen Suggs. Shout out. We don't even have to talk about the Cole Anthony brilliance. It's already known.
If we
kinda-
want to take the Jalen Suggs thing and push it to someone else
Boy.
from the 2021 draft class.
the guy who was the guy who was picked where Jalen Suggs was supposed to go.
Yeah.
And everyone made fun of them, including me. I made fun of them.
Oh, I made
And
fun
then
of him
Jalen
a
Suggs
lot.
kind of stuck. And now
Yeah.
he's pretty good, but someone who's a little better than pretty good now is Scotty Barnes, and that kind of hurts because I don't like the Raptors. But
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we already kind of talked about Philly. we've all established we don't really want to talk about the Raptors right now. Can we just chalk this up to Scotty Barnes praise and keep it brief?
Yeah, we don't have to talk about the rest of the team because they've looked bad. But Scotty Barnes has found a way to sneak into Pascal Siakam's home and take all of his powers because, like, this dude looks so good.
Yeah.
Man, like, oh my god, like he was like last year. It was like he's like a little stagnant with it. I don't know. Like I still see the tools. Like he's always been this just like total joke of an athlete, right? Like he can like touch the top of the backboard pretty much. He's like crazy strides, but it was always like, well, now how does he translate that to good basketball? Like that, he doesn't like that, and
Yeah.
it's, they've stopped treating him like Siakam. They treat him like Scotty Barnes. He's allowed to just fucking fly around and do whatever, have the ball all the time, and he's been so good with it. His decision making has been excellent. Like he makes like legitimately advanced reads now, which is awesome. And like he can see over guys, so he can pass over them. He can thread the needle. The shooting has looked strangely good for him. That might go away, but
Yeah,
like,
I will say I think the shot quality for Scotty has been a lot better, and this has actually been true, I think, for OG as well thus far. I have to look into the numbers on this, but to me, it seems like they're getting more open looks, and I think a lot of that is due to Dennis Schroeder being there, because
Dennis Schroeder's been killing it,
carving up defenses right now.
He was averaging like 8 assists a game.
He's averaging 9 assists right now.
9. Oh my god!
He's cooking, and I think those two guys, Scotty and OG especially, have benefited a lot from having him. Like they're getting their shot quality on like corner threes and like elbow threes looks a lot better than it has been in previous years.
I mean, this is like Oklahoma City Thunder Dennis Schroeder. Like we have not really seen this level
of the basket right now, and that was kind of something that they were missing with Fred, who was fine for them running point guard generally, but
Fred can't threaten the rim.
Yeah, he's not a rim threat at all. Dennis Schroeder gets to the rim like it's his fucking job,
He's
which
so
it is.
Quick.
It is his job.
He's so quick.
That's why I said I liked him better in the offseason. I liked him better for them than Fred.
Yeah, I agree.
I gave you shit for that, and you were right. There you go. A point for Connor.
Yeah, it's a thing that they haven't had with this core, which is advantage creation. Like none of them generally, to this point, for the last like 3 or 4 years, have been able to create advantages for themselves. Dennis Schroeder just like walks into the paint and like threatens the rim.
I mean, 24 points, 6 assists, 13 points, 10 assists, 24 points, 11 assists, 10 points, 8 assists, 15 points, 10 assists.
Yeah, he looks really good. And Scotty, to his credit, like when he has the ball in his hands, has looked way better than he has in the past. His decision making, we saw a little bit of it to the end of last season, but with the ball in his hands, he looks really poised and just like ready to make things happen. He's scoring from a lot of different areas on the floor now, and he's making tough passes. Like he's not just like making like Mickey Mouse, like, you know, one pass over reads to the corner. Like he's throwing some dots.
No,
that step back he hit the other night.
Sorry,
you're fine. That step back he hit the other night to tie the game against this, like, that's just not something he would have done last year ever.
Yeah,
really. Like,
he's making a lot of layup passes.
It's been exciting.
Like, he's hitting important parts on the court with the ball, like as like a scorer, and with the ball as a passer, and it's been really nice to see, because last year we were getting kind of like concerned because the 2021 draft that looked so promising looked like it only had 2 players who were really like coming along at all, which was Mobley and Franz. And now Scotty has really thrown his name in the hat, and it's exciting. It's good. It's good for basketball. It'll hopefully be on another team soon.
It'll be even better next year when let me see who they could throw into that. When he's playing with Harrison Barnes at the trade deadline, and
how would the Raptors get here? I'm kidding, but
that's crazy.
Oh man, yeah. Shout out to Scotty. Honestly, for a long time I kind of didn't like him, but I think that was just a projection of the fact that I don't like the Raptors or their fan base.
I still don't like him. I didn't like him before they drafted him, to be honest.
Bro, he's cool. Scotty's cool.
He's been fun as fuck,
cool.
man. I don't know how you can not like him.
I don't like him. Nah,
Scotty's cool. He's just like a giant child who has.
All right, let's talk about shit we don't like then. Boston Celtics. Ooh.
That's that shit I don't like.
Man, I hate this team. They're so good.
They're in the same. They're in the same bucket they're in the same bucket as the Nuggets, where it's like I don't feel. It feels wrong to not talk about them, but also it's like they're kind of just dominating.
What the fuck do you
you
say?
say? They're better than everyone.
What do you say?
No, exactly.
They're
They're
just
better.
all so good. And you know what? We talked about this when the trade happened. Drew Holiday not making it his shots doesn't fucking matter. He's like the fifth option. Who
It
cares?
literally doesn't matter one
They just
bit.
score 1,000,000 points. Like the five of them combined for like 100 points every night. It's disgusting.
155 on the Pacers in
It's
regulation. What the fuck is
ridiculous
that?
what they do. They just do it every night.
Oh my
on both
God.
ends.
I
Put
saw
up
the other
150
day.
twice.
Like,
Bro, I
fuck
messaged
off, bro.
Connor the other day, like 4 a.m., saying like, "Don't look now," but Derek White leads the league in true shooting percentage. Like,
And he did.
and he did. He leads the league in, like net rating now too, and like some of that is a function of like the team is just being insane. But like, oh my God, they have 5 incredible players that all fit so well together. They just shit on every starting lineup in the league. Sans the Nuggets right now, like it's so nuts. It's their net
Literally-
rating as a team is like plus 14.
It is well documented that I am not an avid Celtics fan. Not a fan of most of the players or the organization generally. The one thing about that org that I have consistently enjoyed, Brad Stevens is a fucking mastermind, and he just understands basketball at such like an atomic level. You know, it feels like he just understands it down to the smallest molecule. You know, it's a lot like when I look at the Denver Nuggets roster and you know, see like how well everyone's skill set complements each other, and they're just so synergistic. That is how I feel about the Celtics. It feels like every year Brad Stevens just finds a way to revamp it in ways that no one thought they could, with less assets than they should rightfully have to give up. Like, it's crazy. The job that he has done over there year over year since he stepped in as the general manager. And I mean, you're seeing it now. Like, this roster is incredible.
They look like the best team in the league by a lot.
They're so
Yeah.
fucking annoying, man. I swear to God. Even when Derek White doesn't play, they're so annoying. It just doesn't. It's like, oh, we'll just put in Al Horford. Like, what? Yeah, wow, fuck you, man. God.
Yeah, I guess
man.
Sam Hauser will go 3 of 4 tonight. Fuck that.
And you know what? The best part about that, Celtics, is that they lost yesterday. Oh, they lost.
They did.
Finally.
Yeah.
Hey.
To a team that has actually been really fun to watch thus far. That was so not fun to watch last season.
If you haven't
my
been paying attention, the Minnesota Timberwolves, as of right now, are the number 1 ranked defense in basketball.
It's by
What-
kind of a lot, too.
Whether you think that's going to hold up or not,
Rudy Gobert is so fucking
fair.
back, man.
Rudy Gobert
He's
has been
so
excellent.
back.
Excellent. And
His
you
offense
know,
kind of
me at
stinks,
the
but oh
numbers.
my God, his defense is so back.
I don't mean to be a hater, and you know, I want Wolves fans to bask in the fact that like they're playing pretty well right now, and it feels kind of shitty to bring this up, but Anthony Edwards led a comeback last night single-handedly against the best team by far in the NBA in overtime, while the guy making more money than him fouled out, had 7 points, 7 turnovers, and played like 24 minutes. I've been saying for a while now, the writing is on the wall. This team can win without Karl Anthony Towns. They just can. It's constructed in a way that you can argue sometimes are better when he's not on the floor.
And you know,
And
I
think it's just time.
I said something during one of the earlier episodes about it would be really nice if Anthony Edwards took that leap that people thought he's taken already. This is the leap that people thought he had taken already. Through these 6 games, he has looked incredible on both ends.
His playmaking is like there.
Oh my
now.
God.
It's-
he is
it's, like,
just
actually
doing,
there.
He's doing
No.
everything right now. It's nuts.
I told people in the second half of last season, the pick and roll ball handling reps went up, and they got more and more productive as the season went on. And he's here now. He's ready to be the main ball handler, and like he is capable of distributing and getting people involved. And also he's so much more mature about finding his shot in an efficient manner, and the way that he just took over that game against the Celtics was phenomenal. Like,
Yeah. I mean, all their starters except Cat are like firing on all cylinders right now. Like they're playing like exactly how you would want them to. Ant scoring the ball, managing the offensive load, finding guys, playing good perimeter defense. Jaden McDaniels been doing Jaden McDaniels thing and being efficient. Mike Conley's been efficient as hell, and he's been passable defensively so far. Rudy Gobert looks like Rudy Gobert from Utah. Like this is the guy
Dude,
you traded for so far.
These are. I need you guys to hear these numbers. Holy fucking smokes!
are they
So
on-offs?
it's some yes, some no. So Rudy thus far this season, guys versus the rim, or versus Rudy at the rim have shot 50% versus him when he contests the shots. That is
Oh
insane.
my
That,
god.
the average is like in the mid 60s.
That is
Right.
unreal.
The Wolves, as a team, when Rudy Gobert is on the floor, opponents from inside the arc have shot 46% from 2-point range.
46% on 2 pointers is ridiculous.
That is disgusting. League average is
Holy
like 54, which is like roughly where they are when he's not on the floor. Opponents
That's
have shot
unreal.
46% from 2 with Rudy Gobert on the floor. He is like, and he's doing the thing. He's contesting a ton of shots. He's making it so hard. And more important than him contesting a ton of shots, I've come around to this actually. I think even worse than the fact that guys get there and miss is that guys get there and don't try. You know what I mean? He's back to like that form
Yeah.
of Rudy Gobert, which he contests a ton of shots. He doesn't contest the most though. The thing that he does more than anything is he makes you turn around, and he does that better
The
than
ultimate rim
anyone
deterrent.
else in the league. More than almost anyone else ever, and the opponent shot quality every possession looks so fucking hard, especially. I don't want to hate on Cat, but especially when he's not on the floor, and they have like Kyle Anderson out there or something.
Nas
Every-
Reed. Nas Reed's been
or
really
Nas
fucking
Reed.
good.
Nas Reed has been
Ev-
excellent.
Every possession looks so hard for the opponent when Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels and anyone else is out there. They look incredible on that end. The offense, it comes and goes. Ant is great. They'll figure it out probably. The defense will not be this good all season, but I do not be surprised if they finish with like a top 5, top 3 defense because
Yeah.
this
I
holy
feel like they have
shit,
that in them.
They absolutely have that in them.
They're a team
Ru-
that's built.
Rudy
to defend.
Gobert as a guy has that in him, man. Like
Right.
we know this as a
I mean,
fact. He did that.
He's been since before he got to the Wolves last season, like all the way.
He was a
through
walking top 5
Utah,
defense.
walking top 5 defense. It didn't fucking matter who the personnel was, and the Wolves actually have good personnel.
Right, he never had anyone like Jaden McDaniels.
Nobody
Or-
like Jaden
or
McDaniels.
even close
even,
to it.
Even Anthony Edwards is a better perimeter defender than anyone on that 21 fucking Jazz team.
Yeah, honestly. Oh man, no, dude. Shout out to the Wolves, and you know what? It's more is coming because they're gonna put it together on offense. Because Carl Anthony Towns, say what you will about him, he will not shoot like this forever. He will put the ball
I
in the
mean,
basket.
he's not going to shoot 23. What
It's
the
less-
fuck he's shooting? Like it's not.
It's
gonna
less
happen,
about
but-
the shooting. It's less about the.
Oh no, the
efficiency
defensive
for
fit
me.
is terrible, but like
I mean, I don't even have to bring up the defense. I feel like that's everyone kind of just understands that at this point. It's more just the way that he disrupts their tempo. You know, their offense feels so free flowing when he's not on the floor, and then he gets onto the floor, and it's like, okay, he's gonna set this weak ass screen, and it's not really gonna go anywhere, and then we're gonna have a rescreen, or okay, we have to dump it down to him so he can get his post touch here. And it's like these are not.
The thing is, it feels like when Cat's on the floor for the Wolves, it feels like they have to get him the ball, like they have to feed him because
Yeah.
if he's on the floor and he's not scoring, he's worthless. Like he's not doing
Exactly.
anything else.
It just fucks everything that they're doing up. But you have to do it because that's
Otherwise,
who
you're
he
not
is.
getting anything out of him.
Yeah, and then he may as well not be out there. And it's just the fouling has always been a problem, and it's never gotten any better. And the turnovers are obscene sometimes. It feels so strange because he's so talented, but it's disgusting to watch sometimes.
Yeah,
I'm
last
very
night
weak
was
about it.
like it was the hardest. I think that was maybe the worst game he's played in the last like 3 seasons. Like it was
quite bad.
horrific.
I'm gonna have to zag here while you guys are zigging. I actually think the offensive fit with Cat is still pretty good. I think one might even
I think
say
the fit is
very
fine.
good.
I think their processing with him isn't good right now, and they haven't
I don't
figured
agree.
out how to.
I
do
would
it
be
well.
interested.
Bro, their offensive rating with him on the floor is 16 points higher. If the process is not working, then it's probably then something's got to be going wrong.
I'm
And
curious about
that's not 3-point shooting either. Their 2-point percentage with him on the floor jumps 11%,
Oh,
and I think a lot of that is his efficient scoring, and a lot of that is his opening up the paint.
it's not been his
many
efficient
things, but he is still.
It's not been his efficient scoring thus far. That's for certain.
Okay, yeah, but you know what I mean. Having him being one of the best 3-point shooting centers ever is still a very relevant factor in them getting their stuff. Um, I think.
Let me go dig. Let me go see if I can find some things.
What are you looking for?
I'm interested if I can find anything that supports what I'm saying. I'm interested to see what the if it tracks pace with lineups on NBA.com.
Maybe
It doesn't.
I don't know. I don't. I feel like pace is not like a very good offensive indicator though in terms of like actual success.
Well, that's the only argument I'm making is that their pace looks really like significantly decreased when he's on the floor.
I don't mind that because he's just a very
What's the name of the club
good
y'all
player
like
with the
to-
ball. I don't know, man. He's still Cat on offense. He's still like this incredible offensive center when he's on not scoring 7 points in a game, and it might just be like a thing you have to balance out, you have to live with, because like he does make the defense worse. Like that is kind of unquestionably true, but like outside of last year, like, and last year was like, I think there were a lot of things that were going on outside of him being bad. Like clearly, you know, there was injury stuff, there was fit stuff. It was weird. I think overall,
People fucking
Carl Hughes is a
fighting.
very long and illustrious as a history as you can get with the Timberwolves of making their offense a lot better when he plays. So, and this year it looks to be the same. So.
Let me check this on off from this year compared to previous years.
I'm looking at it right now. The offense when he's on is 116. When he's off, it's like a 99.
Plus 2.6. That's pretty good.
His
I think
offensive,
he should be a Raptor. He's
His
a Raptor.
estimated plus minus stuff year in and year out, outside of like literally last year, is like +4, +5 on offense every single year, and the defense is negative usually because you know it should be. But it's still.
But I mean, if we're comparing this year to like previous years that are not 2023, so like this season through 7 games, his on off is what is it, plus 2.6?
I'm seeing plus 3.4.
3.4, sure. I mean, if we take that back to like 2021, he's like up by like double digits as far as on off.
Yeah, but it's a different
That's, like,
baseline because the off is plus 5.8, whereas the off was never that when he was there before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's a fair take, but obviously like he's not like obviously their offense is better than like his replacement level. I think that's fair to say. But as far as like we're talking this season's Cat versus like 2021, 2022, 2020 Cat, like it's night and day. If this team had like Cat from like 2 or 3 years ago, like they would be like a top 10 offense.
I think they can get there. I think they can get there.
Speaking of top offenses,
Oh,
a
boy.
team with much less drama that is actually just oodles of doodles of fun to watch. Y'all know I love my Indiana Pacers.
Oodles of
around
doodles
here.
are fun to watch on one end in particular.
We don't.
One of the ends.
It's okay. We don't have to worry about the defense. It's only fifth
Are they
worst
the
in
number
league.
one offense right now?
Yep.
I think so.
They
No,
are
they're
leading.
second.
Oh, they're
they're
second
first.
to let me see.
The
No, they're
Sixers.
good. No,
Yeah,
they're
the
top
Sixers.
rated
The
offense.
Sixers are the number one offense.
On offensive rating, it's the Sixers.
I'm on NBA.com right now. It says they're number one.
I'm on Basketball Reference. Someone's wrong.
On NBA.com. They're number one at 120.4, and the Celtics and the Sixers are tied at second and third with 119.9.
That's weird that they calculate differently. Basketball Reference says a little different. I don't really care. They're good. They're amazing.
They lead in some
It's- yeah,
very
it's not
exciting
really-
metrics. They lead in some very
Yeah.
exciting metrics.
They're
for me.
cooking.
120 offensive rating, best in the league. Assist percentage 67.4%, second in the league. Assist to turnover ratio 2.35, which is by far the highest in the league. That's like
Mm-hmm.
that's like 2 decimal points higher than the fucking Nuggets. It's fun. It's fun.
Second in the league in
and
assists per game behind the Nuggets as well.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And they are second. Sorry, I lost my place. Second in the league in pace at 103.79. The only team in the whole league that is playing faster than them are the Washington Wizards, who are also shooting
That's
not
so
great,
funny.
not great from the field. And
I love that. That's such a beautiful demonstration of how pace can be amazing or also terrible.
No, right, because you look at all these other teams and these all make sense. Like Pacers, Hawks, Hornets, Thunder, they all have like, pretty quick guards who like push the tempo. And then you got
Jordan
the
Poole
Wizards.
is quick.
All I think about is Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole.
Yeah, they're quick sometimes. But yeah, dude, all of it. Their offense has been joyous to watch. They put up a trillion last night. They had 86 in the first half, which I know made one of the people we know very happy.
Bro, these box scores are hilarious. Opening night
has been
Opening night,
crazy.
143 to 120 on the Wizards. The next night, this is versus the Cavs, who were the best rated regular season defense last year. 125 points. Lost to the Bulls, lost to the Celtics. They didn't even break 110. Play the Cavs again, 121. Play the Hornets, and we'll talk more about that game, but that was good. 124.
Jesus.
And then they put up 152 points on the
It's so
Spurs
funny.
the other night.
They score the most points in the league, and Tyrese is their only 20 point per game scorer. He's averaging like 24. Like
It's crazy.
I feel like even though his box
they just shoot so fucking
stuff,
much.
even though his box stuff hasn't changed that much, I feel like Tyrese has evolved as like a player this season. Like I feel
For
like
sure.
he is significantly better in the sense that he's looking for his own shot more. I feel like he's being more aggressive with the ball, and that's opening up more opportunities because he was kind of like a Tyrese, as good as he was last year, it felt like he was kind of on like the wrong side of the box score versus actual impact thing, you know what I mean? Where his numbers look maybe a little better than he might have been. Like for a guy who is like 20 points, 10 assists a game on like really good efficiency, it felt like he wasn't quite impacting their offense as much as he could have at times because he was very conservative with the ball with his own shot. And he just said, "Fuck it this year, man. Like let's run."
Whatever concerns you had, he's doing that shit now.
Yeah.
No, he's been looking for his own shot a lot more. He's been looking for the harder passes more. He's been making them more. The guys are hitting them more. Like it's been
fantastic,
awesome,
man.
bro. Their offensive rating with Tyrese on the floor right now is a fucking 125, which is beautiful.
And
they're
all hitting
gorgeous basketball.
So many threes. They make so many threes. It's unreal.
They take a ton. They don't hit an unreasonable amount. Is the coolest part? Like they're only shooting 39% from three as a team, which is.
Yeah,
I mean,
part of that
teams
is
have
like
done that for full seasons.
part of that
Teams
is like
can do
they
that.
have a few guys, kind of a few bad apples in the bunch that are probably taking some threes that they shouldn't be. But I mean,
Yeah, they have
you
Tyrese
run down the
Halliburton,
list.
Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, Bruce Brown.
They
They're
have
all great shooters.
They have 3 guys shooting 45% from 3 on like 4.5 or more attempts.
They have a lot of great shooters on that team.
Yeah.
Like it's not if like as far as a team that could shoot 39% from 3 the whole year, which again, that's not like unsustainable. Teams did that last year. I'm pretty sure I need to go check. Yeah, last year the 76ers just did that. The Warriors just did that. I feel like the Pacers, like maybe not 39, but like 37, like those are numbers you can replicate,
Yeah.
you know?
And I mean,
And their process is replicable.
the only I think guys that are really gonna shoot well under the clip that they are right now, like probably Bruce Brown and Neesmith, I guess, are like the 2 I'd pick out. But I mean, the rest of them, like Hield is like liable to just shoot 46% for the whole season. Like he can just
Hield's
do
one
that.
of the best shooters ever.
Yeah. Like Turner can probably maintain like a 39 to 41% clip for most of the year.
Yeah. I have a good
I'm just a
Hield
big
stat.
fan. I'm a big fan of the way that this roster has been constructed. All of our wings shoot. All of our wings and all of our guards set screens. And when Tyrese is off the floor, we have Andrew Nemhard, who's also a really steady guard who, his efficiency hasn't been great this year, but, he understands how to play point guard and
Yeah, I mean,
really
Nemhard
push
plays
the
well.
pace, rack up a lot of
When
assists.
TJ's in, like, he's fine. Bruce Brown, like, takes some playmaking duties. Like, they work on a rotation and it's fine. I just really need them to play fucking Jarris Walker, and then we're cool. Like, that's all I need.
I cannot believe we said at the start of the season, yeah, he should probably start, but it'll be Obi and he'll play his way in. Dude, he's not even like really in the rotation right now.
Yeah, he's not playing him at all, which is crazy to me. Like, he's
Tough.
getting Ben Shepherd run, bro. It's tough scene.
And Shepard run is crazy.
Oh man.
All right, well, that's enough good things, and now I think this is probably the last team we're talking about. The downfall
All right.
of the
Everyone
Memphis
put on
Grizzlies.
your sad faces.
I don't know. It's they're missing Jaw, and it's just a tough scene, man.
We don't need to
Memphis
dive.
Grizzlies.
We don't need to dive too much into it. Like, it's very easy to look at who they're missing. Ja, Brandon Clark, and Steven Adams especially. My Grizzlies stock plummeted after they lost Steven Adams. Obviously, John Morant is more important and is the best player and the most important player on the team. But if you don't understand what Steven Adams was doing for this team's offense, I implore you to go watch some tape of Steven Adams in a Grizzlies uniform. There is not a soul on this planet who is better at manipulating bodies on a rescreen in the lane than Steven Adams. The amount of rescreens that Steven Adams could set on a John Morant drive to free him up and create lanes in traffic or seal his man to avoid a contest, especially when you have a point guard who's driving to the rim that much, that shit does not grow on trees, and it is very effective when it is on the floor, and you really, really miss it when it is not on the floor. I was not super worried about their defense with Jaren moving to the full-time 5. I think that was kind of overblown. The rebounding, obviously isn't great. Everyone's been poking fun at him.
It's actually not been that bad.
He's been stepping up. He's been stepping up, but a lot of people were really scared about the defense and were like, haha, Jaren at the 4 is all he can do, and stuff like that. I was much more concerned about how their offense was going to look. I mean, that's without even addressing the contested rebound rates and the offensive rebounds. Steven Adams is one of the best offensive rebounders ever. One of the best rebounders, period, ever. Especially at contested rebounds. And holy shit, do they miss him. Especially for a team that historically has not been a super efficient offensive team. Getting your team a second shot, and sometimes even a third one, is so invaluable. And oh my good god, they are just really lost on that end without him.
The thing is, like, I'm gonna be one of these people. I feel like the Grizzlies, like, and I think a lot of us are kind of on this page. I'm not like panicking that much about them because I feel like so much of what has been happening to them is kind of just like really weird, not insane, like statistical nonsense. Like, we were talking about it earlier. So the Grizzlies on wide open threes, I think the opponents were shooting like 42% versus them, which is really crazy and not a real thing that happens over the course of the season. Generally, it's like 38, because you don't affect a wide open shot. And then on their end of things, I'm pretty sure it was like about it's the inverse. They're shooting like 32% from 3 as a team. Luke Kennard is at 26%. Desmond Bane is at 34%. Like, their offense is bad, don't get me wrong. And their defense is not as good as it was with Steven Adams, but I think both of these things are going to regress in the correct direction. I think they're a lot closer to a 500 team than a lot of people are giving them credit for. I don't think they're the worst team in basketball. I don't think they're a -7 net rating team like they are right now. They're certainly not worse than the fucking Spurs or Wizards. Oh my god, be nice. I think they're gonna be like kind of okay. Actually,
Well,
I think their record is a little deceptive right now, and I think they're probably gonna have like a little closer to like 10 wins when Ja comes back, maybe like 9.
Well, yeah, and let me make it very clear. I'm not telling anyone to hit the panic button and like, oh yeah, this team's fucking fried.
A lot of people are already panicking. They think these boys have been fried, which is crazy.
I mean, it's going to be rough with John missing 25 games. I think they would be pretty lucky if they ended the year 500. I think they're probably going to be a play-in team if they keep playing the way that they are right now until John Morant comes back. And maybe some of this just is who they are without him, but I'm not telling anyone to hit the panic button. I'm just trying to, it's not very interesting to just say, oh, they're injured. When they're healthy, they'll be good, but right now they're not, so they're bad. I'm just trying to break down more to people listening, like, hey, these are the reasons why they're bad right now because of who they're missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I found it on the other end too. The Grizzlies, as a team, they actually have the third most open 3-pointers, wide open, so no one like even in the vicinity in the entire NBA. The Indiana Pacers, by the way, go Pacers. They're first. Sure. The said Grizzlies are shooting 33% on those third most wide open threes in the entire NBA.
Can I get into that? Can I get into that laundry list of stats that I was doing before we started?
Yes, actually, me and Connor were sitting here before on like B-Ball Index and NBA.com, just like perusing, looking for any signs that the Grizzlies might not be cooked. And you know what? They really might not be cooked. They might not be cooked.
So we'll start at the baseline. I mean, it's no secret. 104 offensive rating, second worst in the whole league. They are surrounded by the Blazers, the Knicks, the Cavs, and the Heat.
Yeah, fuck.
Pretty washed territory. And so that's where they're at right now. But there are some things to like here. Their 3-point shot quality, 76th percentile, 8th in the whole league. So when they do generate threes, they're usually pretty clean, and they're getting some of the best looks in the league. The problem is that their 3-point attempt rate is in the 34th percentile, which is the 11th worst in the league, and their 3-point shot making is in the 24th percentile, which is 8th worst in the whole league. So when they do generate threes, they're very high quality. The problem is that they're not taking enough of them, and when they take them, they're not making them. So that's the first part of that, is that their perimeter shooting is really lacking. And part of that is because obviously you can say this team is worse at getting to the basket without John Morant, but I don't think people understand how bad they are without John Morant. So drives per 75, the amount of times per 75 possessions that they're driving to the rim, 31st percentile, 10th worst in the whole league. They're not really driving to the basket a ton. The total shots at the rim per 75 is actually pretty high. It's in the 86th percentile, which is 5th in the whole league. But the unassisted rim field goal attempts are also very high. It's in the 90th percentile. And the rim shot making is in the 59th percentile, which is 13th in the whole league. So when they do get to the rim, they're not getting super quality looks, but they're converting on a lot of them. The problem is that they're driving less than almost any other team in basketball. They're in the bottom 10 in all of the teams in the league in driving to the basket. And their finishing talent, I mean, it graded pretty poorly. And so the threes, when they generate them, are good. They're generating solid opportunities. They're not doing it enough because they're not driving and they're not getting to the basket enough. And so if they can do that, and they can start to take more of these threes, and they can start to make more of these threes, which we see their personnel, like you said, Desmond Bane and Luke Kennard are not going to shoot like that the whole year. They can be in better shape, but those are the reasons right now why it's bad beyond John Morant is out. This is why it's bad that he's out.
And of course the subpar team offensive rebounding impact versus the I think when Steven Adams is on the floor, they're like literally the best offensive rebounding team in the NBA.
Yeah.
He's like one of the few players. Like rebounding impact is very finicky for a lot of guys because sometimes the shots will just come to you. That's how it is in the league. Steven Adams is one of the very few players who has like a very stable like on-off rebounding signal that is strong. Like him, Mitchell Robinson, Jokic, Yusuf Nurkic, like guys like that. Like they're very few and far between. And he is one of those guys where he is like generating actual value with that skill.
Totally agreed.
Yep.
I think that's all we got for this week. For our closer, we do have something for you guys down in the replies. Let us know what you think, and we will be providing our answers as well. We were just wondering what your favorite game or performance was from this week. Could be a team, could be an individual player. My personal favorite, Tyrese Halliburton against the Hornets. 43 points, 12 assists, scored
That's a good one.
26 points in a quarter by himself. I will never shut up about this team. I will never shut up about Hallie. I love watching him, and I love watching them. So let us know down below any individual games or team games that you guys like to watch. Did you guys have anything that you wanted to contribute to that?
Oh, do they have to be not on my team?
I don't care. Do whatever you want.
Hey, Jalen Brunson, 45 points against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, okay. I mean, go fuck yourself. But yeah, cool.
I have one. I have a good one.
Surely, if he scored 45, they won.
Surely it was a win, right?
I have one, actually. This is a player on the team we haven't talked about yet, and that we will talk about next week. Because they kind of just aren't that good. But LaMelo Ball versus the Dallas Mavericks. They did lose the game, but he had 30 points and rebounds, 13 assists. And I think more than anything, I think like LaMelo has always been a very, very good, very creative passer, but I think he's really taking more steps in like straight up just pressuring a defense with his ability to move the ball, making really high level reads and passes. And man, he was really going toe to toe with Luka Doncic there for like an entire ass game, and he kind of just got sold at the end, but he played excellently.
Yeah. I mean, Luka's been taking over the league really for the first part of the season, and LaMelo was like right there with him for most of that game.
I think
really
he looked
cool.
better that night. I think he actually looked
feel like
better.
he gets this bad rep because he's at the helm of the ship currently.
Bro, the ship is
and
underwater. They suck.
The Hornets have been
All of them besides him are
horrific.
like actually really bad.
right.
Like I like Mark Williams, but he's like not a good starting center yet. None
And-
of those
and
guys
with-
are good starting anythings yet besides him.
And with a comparable roster, and in my opinion, a worse head coach in James Borrego, his sophomore year, this team was 43-39. And like,
Yeah.
this team was above 500 with him with a worse coach. And last year he misses pretty much the whole season with his ankle and foot thing, and they're a fucking 27 win team. LaMelo Ball might on his own just be 16 wins for this team, and so I don't really understand where he gets the rep that he's this like non-winning player, this like disgustingly bad chucker and all this shit, and that this team that he can't be a number one and stuff. It's like, dude, this guy wills this team to win like pretty handily.
Yeah, especially with the ball. Like they genuinely look fucking lost out there when he doesn't have it. Over the last 3 seasons, so this is a very stable sample. This is 8,000 minutes just about. The Hornets are 6 points better on offense with LaMelo Ball out there. That's significant. That's a big deal. And like considering that they're really bad without him and like pretty good with him on, like I'm trying to remember the season. I think it was 21-22 when they actually made the playoffs. They were a top 10 offense and that was the LaMelo Ball show. They were 9th in offensive rating with his second option being Terry Rozier. Like,
Man, I should beat the dog shit out of Mitch Kupchak for making me watch a goddamn Terry Rozier, Gordon Hayward offense. You sick fuck you.
hey, don't forget the Kelly Oubre offense.
Oh, my god. Hey, that
God.
was fun. I like Kelly Oubre.
The Kelly Oubre offense.
Oh
I like Kelly. I don't like.
yeah.
all
I
good.
think LaMelo, he's just gonna get shit for a long time because he's like kind of inefficient. He's like kind of like Trae Young, honestly, where he's kind of inefficient without the ball. He's worse than Trae Young, obviously, but low percentage, takes a lot of like kind of hard shots, and he kind of looks like a dickhead on a lot of the plays he makes. But man, he is like.
I literally think that's what it is. He might just be annoying to watch.
He looks well. First of all, he just looks like an annoying guy. Like
I mean, I think he kind of is an annoying guy. I don't know. If it's just
he
his
is an
looks.
annoying guy. He is an annoying guy. But like beyond that, like dude. I mean, I was watching the Mavs, and the Mavs are like not some like awful defensive team. They're not great either, but they're not terrible, especially now that they have Derek Lively the second.
Yeah.
Dude, like he was really making it hard for them. Like he's just attacking pressure points, getting wherever he wants with his dribble, making like second level passes, and it was really nice to watch. I in fact went home yesterday and I rewatched the game on NBA TV because it was good. It was a battle between him and Luka Doncic, seeing who could like jackknife their way into two pretty Well, I guess the Hornets are not a good defense, but the Mavericks are like an interesting defense, right?
An interesting defense. That's the
Yeah.
word I'd use. They are an interesting defense.
I mean, they're
Not
bad.
league worst. I mean, they're
mid.
all right. They're all right.
They're just like aggressively mid, but like, he did some really incredible things to that mid defense. So
This year, did you have any favorites?
Yeah, I told you, Jalen Brunson, man.
Oh yeah, sorry.
mm-hmm.
You lost, so I honestly completely erased it from my mind.
Lamella lost too, but it's the process that counts.
Well, he didn't play
value,
my team.
We value the process over the results on this show because
No, I
maybe
think
that's
I
the
like
Knicks
people
fan
who win,
talking.
actually.
It's the Knicks fan talking.
All right, cool.
All right, that is all we have for now. We will catch you guys next week. Please answer that down below in the comments if you made it this far. Thank you so much. Make sure to like, share, all that jazz.
Do all that
and
stuff.
Yeah, do that damn thing. All right, we will catch you guys next week. Goodbye.
Peace.
Bye.